All right, probably the biggest gap that I run across when I come and do my initial assessment with, again, this is churches, schools are even worse, almost everywhere, is communication. So how do you guys communicate with each other during a Sunday service? Do you have radios? Okay, phones? Okay, yeah. What I found is I have a lot of, again, specifically churches that do the two-way radios, right? And sometimes they'll even have the earpieces in so they can talk about what's going on in the parking lot or the lobby or whatever. And that's great that they have their place. But, I mean, let's face it, no one is too far away from these ridiculous things. They're usually charged. We know how to operate them. I've found that it's the best way to stay in contact. I've given the Share 911 is an app that people use to help communicate with both other people in the congregation, like our staff mostly, about what's going on, and also with 911. There are a bunch of apps out there like that. I can tell you that your team specifically is looking at all those things and the options. In fact, as we're talking about that, your team has had a threat vulnerability assessment done of this location. It's done by, was it Scottsdale PD or Phoenix do it? Okay, we had a private company. They come in and they'll do the assessment and say, hey, this is good. This could be better. Hey, you got good door locks. Hey, let's put some window film on this glass. Hey, how about this? You need better cameras, that sort of thing. So that's been done. And all of that stuff is, we're going to call it in process. In fact, Impact Church was awarded a grant recently through FEMA that helps fund some of those great upgrades. So again, that was a heavy lift by your staff to get that grant in and done and get accepted. And it's a huge piece. We got it ourselves, and it's been a dramatic difference for somebody, especially small churches, to get some of these upgrades. So good job on that. But communication, that's a big one. All right, so the way that I went about this is if you look at your emergency response policy, it's basically broke up into two sections, Section 1 and Section 2. Section 1 is all the administrative nerd stuff, which you can read through that, and we'll talk about that at a later date. What we're going to work on today is Section 2, which is termed the Emergency Response Plan. Does everybody see that in there? And you can see we've got several topics, everything from evacuation to lockdowns to bomb threats. And we're going to spend a little bit of time on all of those, and I put them in order of your plan. All right, so I didn't put them in order of importance or anything like that. We're just going to talk through them one by one in your plan so you can follow along in there. If you want to make some notes, you can, but I'd rather you just listen and ask questions. If something doesn't sound right to you or you're like, well, why would we do that? Why do you do that? Bring it up, because I'll tell you, hey, maybe we make an adjustment to the plan. Maybe you bring something up about this facility that you're like, hey, did you guys know that we have some back access that nobody ever thinks about? Oh, no, I didn't know that. Let's write that in, or let's make a correction. Now is the time. The answers are probably sitting in this room right here. That make sense? Okay, so let's talk about the first thing. How many people do you guys usually have in here on a Sunday during a service? How many are sitting in the main sanctuary? 1,600. Ballpark. So up to 1,600 at any given time, fair point. Okay, well, that's a fair amount of people, right? So what if we had to move all of those people from sitting in their nice comfortable chair out to the parking lot? What do we do? Anybody thought about it? I mean, because what's going to happen is if we have to do that for some reason, they're going to be looking at the people in this room of, hey, what do we do and how do we get there? So that's the genesis of this plan is, hey, how would we do that? Why would we do that? So we're going to go through a couple of those things. First one, we've termed in this plan kind of a leadership team, we'll call it. And it consists of, in my opinion, three very important elements. One is our facilities. So I've got two of our facility guys right over here. These guys know the building better than anybody. So you'd be remiss to not include them in every decision. Everything that we're doing with this should go through the facility folks. I think we all agree with that. The second is the pastoral team. So our pastors dictate a lot of things in this plan, and like when we would evacuate a building, when we would contact somebody, when we would ask someone to leave, maybe, or maybe not. So that's a pastoral decision, and I'll get into some of the details with that later on. How many pastors do I have in here? What we consider on the pastoral team? Okay, good. So when I say pastoral decisions, I want you guys to just perk up a little bit on those. And then finally, you need to have somebody that kind of rides herd on this program. We'll call it a security director, security ministry team member, first impressions leader, however you want to term it is fine. In this case, Amanda's going to be the lead contact. So that way you have this kind of 3-person decision-making team. And are all 3 of those people here on any given Sunday? Right? So I'll give you an example from my own church. This was, let's call it about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I sit in the front row, and I'm kind of responsible for our pastor or any guest speaker on stage. I'm responsible for the interior and security inside. So I'm sitting in the front row. We had just got done with worship, and pastor comes up, starts into his sermon, and all of a sudden, the fire alarm starts going off. I mean, the fire alarm, not just a fun, has anybody ever been in a building with the fire alarm going off? Oh, so from police side, a lot of times we'll have to go into a building and clear it, the fire alarm, smoke, all that sort of thing. If I could ask for one thing from God, like please turn this high-pitched sound off. It's like distracting, drives me crazy, right? So it's super loud, the lights start flashing, all that right in the middle of service. So I'll put the question to you. Let's say, which one's your busiest service on Sunday? Okay, let's say it's right in the middle of your busiest service and the fire alarm starts going off. What do you do? Okay, all right. How about, I'll give you a little bit more information each time. All right, so the fire alarm's going off. You don't smell anything. You don't see anything smoke-wise, nothing. What do you do? Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's move up and assess. So for me, in this case, good answer. The facility guys always have the right answer. Pretty soon, I'm not going to let them answer because I want to hear from somebody else. So the funny part, you guys appreciate this, the pastor is up and the alarm starts going off, and he immediately just looks at me. And I look back at him because I'm like, oh, who's going to blink first, right? So I'm like, I don't do this fireman thing, man. I don't play ping pong all day and save basements, right? There's nothing, I don't know what. Oh, do we have firemen in here? Fire jokes are not, they're not. Oh, they are allowed. Okay, who's got the fire contact? Somebody must, married to a fireman or some. Okay, all right. I actually like those guys, but I'm going to tell you, don't. This is being recorded. I'll X that out later. So, but anyway, so I'm looking at him like, I don't know what to do. Is the place on fire? So I get up. I go out to the lobby. He's like, hey, everybody just be calm. Let's just stay here for just 1 second. And I mean, it's beep, 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 beep. I walk out. I meet the executive pastor out in the lobby. We go to we didn't have the facility guys there. We go out to the fire panel. And there's a button on there where you can mute the fire alarm. So we go out in the lobby and we're like, hey, no, I'm not seeing anything on fire. There's no direct threat right here, so to speak. So we mute the fire alarm. We send a couple people out. Hey, look around and see if there's some fire in the back room or anything like that. They're looking around. We're good. I walk into the sanctuary. And, the fire, it's off now. I give pastor the thumbs up. He continues the sermon. Now, from there, we're going to do a little bit more exploration on what's going on. We walk around a little bit more. We call the fire panel company, and we say, hey, we just had the fire alarm go off. And they're like, oh, okay. Oh, sure enough, it's a sensor in your HVAC unit in building C or something like that, right? Oh, okay, cool. Let's go over to building C, check it out, make sure that building's not on fire. We have multiple buildings on our campus. So we go over there. It's fine. We call our facility guys like, oh, you know what, that sensor went out again, one of those type things, and we're like, oh, okay. We call the Phoenix Fire Alarm Room. Hey, don't send Don't bother them. I know they're buying groceries or doing, again, whatever firemen do, washing their little red truck or whatever. So I don't want to bother them. They get real grumpy when you do that. So no, don't send them. We'll let you know if something else comes. Or okay, cool, thanks. Perfect example of what, these are the types of decisions I would expect you guys to make, because just looking at the crowd here, our congregation might just be a little more elderly than this group right here. And I will say, side note, I told Amanda, just to see a group of young people like this in the ministry, warms my heart. So it's awesome to be part of it. But that being said, like, hey, if I got to move 300 people out into the parking lot in 117 degree, and not everybody probably walks all that great. We might have a wheelchair or walker or two, and then I've got a children's ministry that I've got to move all of those crumb snatchers, 2 of them are mine, out into the parking lot. Whew, that's a lot. And don't get me wrong, like if the building's on fire, we're going to do it. But if not, maybe we make an assessment and move from there. So that's just an example of, hey, this is why we have this plan. So if that were to happen Sunday, I would expect Amanda and somebody from facilities and probably a pastor, my pastoral staff, meet outside and make that decision. Because it may be, hey, we can't identify where this is coming from. And we're going to want a pastor to make a decision and be like, all right, you know what, let's something's not right about this, let's go ahead and get everybody evacuated. And that may be the right answer, even if it ends up being a false alarm. But these are the type of decisions you have that top tier, so to speak, just making when it's not an exigent threat. Does that make sense, what we're talking about? Okay, good. All right, that goes the same with if there were a fire and you did need to evacuate. There's nothing super technical about it. Our fire doors are made for a reason. If you look in the back of the room and you see those doors, how they have those are called panic bars on the end. That means that even if that door is locked, if you press that button, it lets you out. Anybody want to take a guess when the last, we'll just use schools for this example. The last time a school student died in a structure fire? Anybody want to take a guess? Yes, did you say 1950 what? Because you're, okay, 1953. It was a Catholic school in Chicago. Dude, this guy, you're like a game show expert back there. So 1953 in Chicago, right? And the point of the story is, and again, as much as I hate complimenting our fire guys, doing a pretty good job, right? Because what do they have? They have sprinklers everywhere. They've got the push bars. They've got the panel. They got the shiny red trucks. That's just, I'm jealous. I took the wrong test. I took the cop test. I should have took the fire test. I know that. My wife tells me that all the time, but whatever. So, hey, fire does a good job of this. Let's learn some things from them is my point. This building is designed to get people out. And in a hurry. So we want to stay calm. If we ever had to evacuate the sanctuary, that's where you guys will probably, and we'll do this in a drill likely, and we won't bring the whole congregation in for the drill, but we'll bring all of us and we'll talk about, hey, how do we move a group of people in an efficient manner, just like they do at schools, right? Everybody stand up and you're moving little guys, and we'll talk about the children's ministry as well. But that's the sort of thing. Once that decision's made, to evacuate, then we'll just get them out. It's pretty easy. Good. Now for us, and same with you guys, we've designated a portion in the furthest most portion of the parking lot. We have a bunch of shade there. That's why we picked that spot. But we can talk about that. We just said furthest most, so we can get as far away from the structure as possible to let fire and everybody come in and do their thing. We'll give you a more specific location when we get there to drill day.